Hello beautiful people, welcome to our beta version. If you are returning to my videos, welcome back. And in today's video we are going to talk about a payday routine. Now if you are just starting working, you need to have a payday routine in place. And if you have been working a while, I'm sure you have some sort of routine. It might not be as well structured, or it might not be like a formalized system, but I'm sure that everybody has some sort of routine which they are following when it comes to their payday. So in today's video, we are going to look at some of the key issues that one needs to have in place for their payday. Having a payday routine helps us to have our money organized. It helps us to also effectively manage our finances and know exactly where our money is coming from and where it goes, the different places where our money goes. And that routine helps us to effectively implement our financial plan. So having a payday routine is vital to enable us to effectively manage our personal finances. Now, before we look at the routine, or before we look at where our money should go, there are three things that we need to have in place first. The first one is to know our income and to set up a budget. One needs to know exactly where they are getting their money from and how much are they getting. Yes, people who are salaried with a structured employment contract, they know exactly how much they are getting. However, you find others who do not have such structure, and sometimes the money is coming in weekly or bi-weekly, so they might not really always have a good idea of what is coming in. But it's important to really analyze your income and know exactly what comes in, when does it come in, so that you are able to send it where it needs to go. Having a budget is also important, because then the budget is where you now allocate for each item that is in your different pots. You have your pot for the needs, you have your pot for wants, you have your pot for financial goals, which is your savings and investments, then you have your pot for personal development, and you have your giving back. So under each of those, there are things that you are allocating money to, which forms now part of your budget. So for example, in your needs pot, you now then allocate to say, okay, I pay $4,000 for my room which I'm renting, or I pay $300 for my Wi-Fi, I pay $250 for my water bill, my electricity bill is $600. So you are allocating each item now in your budget according to your different pots. Your budget that you set up should be guided by your income. You cannot have a budget of 30,000 while your income is 20,000. Once you know exactly what your income looks like, if you make a 30,000 a month, whatever budget you are setting up should be within that, not beyond that. Then the budget will now assist you to track how you planned and how you ended up spending, and you will know whether you have any differences. So if you have any overspending or you have any underspending, you tracking your budget should be able to assist you to know exactly how you have performed. If you have underspent, then you need to have a plan on what should happen to those funds. Do you put them somewhere else? Where does the funds go? Or is it, once it's underspent, then you can just go out and enjoy the money? What happens to that? If you have overspent, you also need to have a plan. If I have gone beyond my budget, then what must I do? Your budget is informed by your income, and you track the different items that you are in your budget. At least every month you should know, what was the budget? How did I spend? What is the remedial action if there's a need for a remedial action? When it comes to tracking our budget, there are different tools that one can use. Personally, I use Excel, good old Excel. It works. And you can play around with it and set it up however you like. But there are also budgeting tools in terms of apps. So if you have a good app that you can rely on and you like the interface and everything, you can use an app. Or you can just use a good old notebook. So whatever method you use, it does not matter how fancy or whatever, as long as it does what it's supposed to do. which is to track your expenditure and to help you live within your income. Then the second thing you need to have in place is to set up your accounts. Many of us, you have a checking account, which is your transactional account, and that is where your salary is paid to. However, you also need other types of accounts. So you need to have your savings accounts where you put money towards your savings. And you also need to have investment accounts where you are putting your money that goes towards investments. You need to have your retirement accounts where your retirement money goes. So you have to set up different, based on your needs. You need to set up different types of accounts where money is then automated. You need to set up an automated system wherever possible. Then your money is automated to come from your transactional account to the different accounts where it needs to go. And once you automate, it's very easy. You don't need to physically log into your banking app and start moving money around. The money automatically, once it lands, then it moves itself around. Then you need now to set up a paycheck routine. Paycheck routine helps you to stay stress-free. You know exactly every time I get paid, whether it's January, whether it's December, whether it's July, this is what happens on that day. Money comes in from my employer or from my business if you pay yourself a salary from your business, and then the money goes where and where and where. And where possible, the money is automated. Where it's not possible, you log into your banking app and you move that money around where it needs to go. There is no reason for money to just sit in your transactional account, guys. I always feel a certain type of way when I see people showing their bank balance and someone has a 60,000 sitting in their transactional account. Unless you really use all that money frequently or in a short period of time, there is really no reason to have large amounts of money in your transactional account. Your transactional account should actually function as a port whereby the money comes in and goes out, comes in, goes out. There's movement in, out, in, out. It's not supposed to just sit there, because we all know that most of our transactional accounts are checking accounts that have high fees, number one, and they also do not offer any form of interest. So there is really no reason. You don't benefit anything most of the time really from having your money sit in a transactional account. So one needs to make sure that the money lands in and the money goes out where it needs to go. So we have assigned our money jobs and it goes and do those jobs in the other different accounts that we have assigned our money to. Then the big question comes, where does the money go? These are some of the places where your money needs to go as part of your payday routine. At number one, your money needs to go to your retirement contributions. This money is supposed to be automated and it's supposed to go off your salary before it even hits your bank account. Your retirement contributions are supposed to have already gone off. However, if you don't have access to those type of structured retirement contributions, then you do your own automated from your banking account. So the money lands in your income lands into your transactional account. You then log in, you transfer those funds to your retirement contribution or your retirement accounts. And this can be with your employer and it can also be with an independent provider. It does not mean if your employer provides access to a retirement fund, it does not prevent you from having other retirement accounts. If you are able to and you can afford, you can have both the employer one and the one from an independent provider. If your employer does not provide, please make sure that you find an independent provider who can provide you with a retirement account, and you are able to make contributions to that. We don't want to be those people who grow old and then we do not have money to look after ourselves and we start stressing our children or our grandchildren to look after ourselves. Let's put that money aside no matter what the circumstances are, we must find a way. Now, the advantage of retirement contributions, we actually benefit from tax. In terms of the contributions and the growth of our money, we do not pay tax. It grows tax-free. We only need to worry about the tax when we are a retirement age and we have access to those funds, is when we pay tax. So in terms of growth, you are really benefiting from compound interest throughout the many years that you are contributing to that account. So it's growth on top of growth on top of growth, and you are not paying tax on any of that. Only at the end, when you are of age and you are able to access those accounts, then depending on now your tax bracket and your exempted amounts and all those things, then you pay now the required tax at that time. So while the money is growing, you are not paying tax on that money. There are also employers that are able to give their employees a company match, or even if you work in the public sector, it might be that in your country, in your public sector pension fund, or your employer as the state gives you a match. To say you give this much to your retirement contribution, your employer matches that. So if you have that, take advantage of that, because it's basically free money that is going towards your future self. So make sure you fully take advantage of that. The second place your money needs to go to is your savings and investments. With this, you have your emergency fund. You need to put money in your emergency fund. So once you are paid, there should be money that is allocated towards your emergency fund. And this money can be up to 3 to 6 months of your expenses, or you can go beyond depending on your financial needs. You have that fund where you put away for emergencies, and you need to define for yourself, what are emergencies for me? Is it a tire burst? Is it a family member who is ill? Is it a death in the family? What constitutes as an emergency for you? You need to define it for yourself, and you need to be very strict that money only leaves that account if it's any of those things that you have defined. So going on holiday with your friends last minute is not an emergency. So don't take money out of your emergency savings for things that should have been planned for and shouldn't become an emergency. Then you need to allocate money as part of your financial goals. You need to allocate money to your non-retirement financial goals, and this includes your discretionary investments. So the investments that you are doing which are not tax advantaged, that you are putting money aside mainly to build your wealth and to build the nest egg for yourself for the future, this is now where you allocate that money to, and you invest in whatever asset classes are available to you. For example, your stock portfolio that is not linked to a tax advantage account goes under this fund. Then you also need to allocate money under your financial goals to your large spending or to your large expense savings fund. If you are planning to buy a home and you want to put a down payment on that home, let me say you want to put a $300,000 on your $1 million home, for example, that you are planning to buy, then this fund is the place now where you put that money aside. Or if you want to buy a car and you want to put a deposit, or you want to pay half of it in advance and only ask the bank for half of the money, you also then put that money in here. This is also the account where you put money for if you want to make improvements back home or you want to build back home. So the cement gang, this is also where you put the money, so that you plan effectively and you don't end up overstretching yourself and end up stressing and also stressing those around you. Please plan for those home improvements. Don't just wait for last minute. It's now October, December is around the corner and you want to have this and that and that, and then suddenly you just go out and start building out of nowhere. Put money away, plan properly, have a really good contribution, and then you can make sure that you take care of those improvements at home. Then the third place your money needs to go is to go towards your needs. This is where you pay your fixed expenses. Pay your fixed expenses, make sure it's taken care of after your future self is taken care of. Make sure that all your needs are taken care of. Don't be that person that the landlord is always looking for because you have not paid your rent. Please be the person who is responsible and take care of your expenses. The next place your money needs to go is to pay off credit card debt. It's not only the credit card, it's also the store card, your high interest debt. It's also your store cards. Your store cards, you are paying a lot of interest, same as with your credit card. So make sure that you allocate money within your budget to ensure that you pay off each month. You pay off what you owe. Don't be that person who is always going in arrears and then you end up being overcharged. That delay is not free. Delaying paying your credit card, it gets more expensive for you. It's like you are just giving money away to your bank or your credit card provider. Your money also needs to go to investing in yourself. And this is part of your self-development pot. You need to allocate money within your budget so that that money can assist you to upskill yourself. It's money that you are spending to really make sure that you are paying attention to your growth. So all the things that are related to your growth and development and upskilling yourself, this is where you invest in yourself. This is money you allocate to coaching, it's money you allocate to mentors, it's money you allocate to courses, and any other related things that are really there for your personal development. Then you need to pay off all other debt. You allocate funds to pay outstanding debt, and you can use either two methods. You can use the snowball method or you use the avalanche method. With the snowball method, you are paying off the smallest loan or the loan you owe the lowest amount first, finish it off, move to the next one and the next one and the next one until you are done with them all. So the reason why it's called the snowball is you are tackling the smaller thing first, move to the next one. So it's like the ball is getting bigger and bigger. You keep rolling it and rolling it until you have taken up everything, basically. The other way, the avalanche method, that is when you are paying off the one with the highest interest first. For example, the cash loan or the loan shark who gave you a payday loan at 35%, that is the one then you pay off first compared to the one who is giving you 25%, for example. So you rank them according to the one with the highest interest, and then you start paying off from the highest to the next highest, the next highest, until you are at the bottom and you are done with everything. Then your money needs to go to your wants, and this is a way of rewarding yourself. Your wants are a way of rewarding yourself for saying, I work hard, I allocate a certain portion of my income or a certain portion of my budget to really just treating myself. You go to that nice fancy restaurant, you treat yourself to a nice dinner, and you have budgeted for it and you can afford it, it's within your income, you do that. You take yourself for a massage on a Friday afternoon, that is part of this. The wants is actually how we indulge in experiences and how we make our lives a little bit more comfortable. For example, choosing to have a food brought to you instead of you cooking for that day. It's a very important part of your budget, and if you neglect it, then you feel like you are just working and working, but you are not enjoying the benefits of your hard work. At the same time, be careful not to abuse it, because it can easily derail your budget. Then you end up using money allocated to other things within your budget. You end up using it for your wants. Now, at the end of your payday, you need to consider the following. You need to review your financial goals. Look at whether you are on track with what you have planned, how have you done, and look at where can you improve. So make adjustments where necessary. If there's a change in your income, you also make adjustments to your budget and make adjustments to your routine in terms of how things are moving in terms of your finances. If your income increases, make sure that you don't fall into the trap of lifestyle creep. Make sure that that money, you are actually adding it more to your savings and investments instead of you allocating it to more wants or creating needs that are not really needs. So just be careful that when your income goes up, your expenses don't also go up, at least not unnecessarily. One of the areas that you also need to look at when you are doing your review or re-looking at your strategy is to review your subscriptions. Many people have too many subscriptions. You are paying NBC, you are paying DSTV, you are paying Netflix, you are paying Showmax. Now you have so many streaming platforms because this one you only watch soccer, that one you only watch what? It's too many things. And then you also sometimes are paying for apps that you don't even use. You have not opened that app in like 3 months, but yet you are paying a subscription for it. So review your subscriptions, check what you are still really needing to use and keep that, but certain things you need to keep cutting and cutting. Otherwise, you are unnecessarily throwing away money that you could be putting towards your future self and towards your investments and towards your wealth building. So we are at the end of our video. And it really helps to have a routine, guys. It helps to have a routine. And that routine also allows you to be more financially disciplined. If you know exactly what you are supposed to do, what happens with your money when it comes in your accounts, where it goes, and you come back and you track whether it really went there, and you also track in terms of your budget how you have spent, whether you are within budget, whether you are over what you have planned or you have underspent, and having actions to counter each of those, it really helps to have your finances in order. So I do hope that if you have a routine already, this video has assisted you to at least add some things to your routine. If you do not have a routine already, please set up a routine, set up those automated accounts, make your life easier for yourself, and put money where the money needs to go so that the money works for you and not the other way around. I hope you found value in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.